Training. Hello, if you are joining me. I'm streaming to multiple places today. So let me know where you're watching from, where in the world you're watching from. Let me know that you're watching. And today we're going to be speaking about how to spend the first 10 minutes of your workday. Yes, there is a recommended way to spend the first 10 minutes of your workday. And I'm going to share with you exactly how you could be spending it based on some examples of how top professionals in their industries do this first 10 minutes of their workday. So the first example comes from professional mison plus. And let me know if you've heard of that term before. How this works is chefs basically prepare everything for 10 minutes or more, just depending on what they need to prepare. So they prepare for 10 minutes before they even start cooking. It's called mise en place. Hi, Alex. I'm glad you're watching on LinkedIn from Kent in the UK. I'm also in the UK. So mise en place literally means everything in its place. So it's a French term that means everything in its place. And this is how chefs prepare before they even start cooking. And there are a couple of main things that they do before they start cooking. So the first thing is they read the entire recipe, they prepare their workspace, they prepare their equipment, all the ingredients, and then they prepare that it's all ready, but they've got everything ready before they even start cooking, before they even start boiling water. It's called mise en place. Hey, Janet, watching in Australia. That's exciting. Yay. So it's called the mise en place. And so that's just chefs. But the reason why they do this, there's so many key reasons why they prepare in this way for 10 minutes before they even start cooking. And the first is because they have a broad picture of what it is that they need to set out to do. They have this bigger picture. They've prepped themselves for the day ahead or for the meal that they're going to be cooking next. They also have a focus then on the ingredients and the measuring of the ingredients and getting that exactly spot on, because chefs will tell you that if you get the ingredients right, 100% right, it makes all the difference to the meal that you're preparing. They're also able to cook much faster and easier, because if they've got all of the equipment and all of the ingredients ready for them, they're then able to know exactly what to do next, and they're not flustered and rushing from one point to the next, gathering the equipment as they go along or checking to see if things are burning in the oven. Kind of sounds a bit like me when I'm doing baking and cooking in the kitchen. But I can learn a lot from mise en place and chefs and professional chefs and how they structure their first 10 minutes of their day. They're also less likely, by doing this, they're less likely to make mistakes and less likely to rush around. And it's really important, especially if you're handling complex projects and complex tasks, so that if you're able to prepare and get everything ready before you start something difficult, it's much easier, because once you've actually just laid the groundwork, and it's much easier to then take the first step. So think about this in the context of the work that you do. So can you prepare or read your recipe, prepare your day by reading, understanding exactly what needs to be done in your day? Can you do all of those things? The other example that I want to share with you are pilots. Pilots spend not just 10 minutes, but they spend about 2 hours of their day, the first 2 hours of their day, going through flight analysis, looking at flight paths, checking the fuel. They have flight briefings. They check the weather. They make slight adjustments before they even get in an airplane, before they even get in a plane and fly the plane. And the reason why they make all of those do all of those preparations is so that they are being responsible because they've got a lot of people's lives in their hands when they're taking that flight. They also, one of the key things that they do is they check the equipment. So they go and physically check the airplane before they even start flying. Another example are sports people. So if you are an athlete, you'll know that before you even start a race or even before you start training, you've got to warm up. You've got to do the warm up. You've got to loosen the limbs. You've got to feel comfortable. You've got to feel like you're ready to take on the training or take on the race. And one of the key things that sports people do too is that they prepare their mind. They get their mindset right. And they might have, little rituals and like little things, and have the right socks on, or socks that they've worn for every single race. They've got their little ritual or thing that they do. And I know, Alex, if you're still watching, you are an athlete, so you can tell me what your ritual is. But sports people do all of those things before they even start their race or their training. And these rituals, these times, these preparation tactics that they use before they even start working are so important, so that they know that they're not going to make as many mistakes, so that they know that they're confident in what they're about to do, and that they know that they have the bigger picture and they can do what it is that they're setting out to do. So I want you to consider yourself as a world-class professional for the work that you do. I know that you may not think that you're a world-class professional. Some of you may already, which is fantastic, and I'm glad for that. But I want you to consider yourself for the work that you do, that you are a world-class professional. What is that 10-minute rule going to be for you? What is that time that you're going to give to you can go and do world-class work that you do? Even if you're a small business owner, even if you're a professional mom at home doing homeschooling, whatever the case may be, what is your 10-minute ritual going to be? I want you to take your life as seriously as a chef would in a Michelin star kitchen. Your life and your work should be taken as seriously as a chef in a Michelin star kitchen, because then you will create Michelin star results for yourself. So what does your mise en place look like? I'd like you to create, and I mean, it's always good to take action from these kinds of trainings and these tips. And I always try and share ways that you can take practical action from these trainings. So I want you to think about these 5 steps that you can do. So Alex is saying 100% mentally preparing. So this is what he does as an athlete. He says 100% mentally preparing, usually some self-talk followed by some physical stretching and warm-ups. 100%. Mimi from LinkedIn says prayer, exercise, and an inspirational video before I start the day. That's my routine. That's fantastic. So you've already got your 10-minute routine or ritual. And that is so important to set up your day. So here are 5 things that you can consider if you don't have a 10-minute ritual in place for yourself. The first thing is to go over your plan for the day. So I always tell my clients that it's important to prep the day before, or at least the morning before you start your day. Make sure you know what's on your schedule and to go over that schedule. Read your recipe for the day, and make sure that you know what meetings you've got. You can also spend 5 minutes visualizing. Visualize them or performing really well, and the effort that they're going to take and the corners that they're going to turn if they're running a race. Visualize themselves doing the movement of that race. So that's what sports people do, but you can do that too in your work. So visualize how the meeting will go, how your Zoom interview will go. Visualize all of those steps that you need to take. Visualize how inspired you'll be when you're writing a blog post. And make sure that you've also prioritized the important tasks for when you have the most energy. So just check your schedule. That's number 1. read your recipe, but make sure that you've prioritized the most important things for when you have the most energy. And that's normally first thing in the day. The next thing that you can do is to prepare your workspace. Make sure that your workspace is free of clutter. Make sure that it feels comfortable. I often tell clients that activity is impacted by how hot or cold you are. So make sure that your temperature is optimum. About 22 degrees Celsius is the optimum for productivity. So make sure that you have a comfortable space and that you're feeling inspired. And if not, maybe you need to go to a place that is inspiring and that's going to give you the environment that is going to help you do the work that you do. The next thing is to prepare your equipment. So how often have you checked that the backups have run on your laptop, or that you've got the microphone ready and the light ready, whatever the case may be for your the work that you do. So if you need equipment, make sure that it's all ready. What you don't want is to be getting to a point where you're writing a blog post or doing some creative work or doing some really important work and then realizing that you don't have what you need. So prepare the equipment beforehand, especially if you're doing a presentation. Make sure you've got your backups, make sure you've got your data projectors or Zoom links all working. Have that all ready before you start. And then the next thing to do is to prepare your physical and your mental self. This is also equipment. This is what you need. And you need to prepare your physical self before you start your day. So I often ask myself a very simple question, and I say, who do I want to be today? And that can be very different based on the work that I have to do during the day. So ask yourself that question and prepare yourself. The other thing to not forget about is your physical self. So often we need to move. We need to be moving our bodies and making sure that we're stretched and we've got blood flow going to all the right places and oxygen flowing to all the right places. So make sure that your body and your mind are ready for the day. And then the last thing to consider is if you have a team and you're working with a team or a team of colleagues in the same space, perhaps it's a good idea to create a ritual, a 10-minute ritual that you all can do together. And that way people will be able to manage expectations around those first 10 minutes. You all know that you're doing the same thing. And you can actually make this quite a motivational thing to do together. So create your mison plus as a team and share that with your team and get inspired and motivated and ready for the day together. So I'd like to know from you who is going to create a mise-en place for themselves. And if you have one already, what is it? Share with me in the comments. I'd love to know. What is your 10-minute ritual before you start your day? Because remember, you are a world-class professional. And if you practice being a world-class professional, you will have world-class results too. So share with me in the comments, what is your mise-en place 10-minute ritual going to be for every day for your workday? And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, join my Facebook group for women. And if you want any more strategy, productivity, and motivational tips, follow me. The links are all in the post. And I will see you again next week, Wednesday, for some more strategy, productivity, and mindset tips. I hope you have an amazing Wednesday, and bye for now.